A very good welcome to the Breakfast Club. My name is Suzagire Ndlovu, and this is Asake Online. Today on the show with me, I'll be chatting to Mpilo Moyo about his COVID-19 experiences. And without further ado, welcome to you, Mpilo. How are you?
I'm fine, so thank you so much.
So, singakayi ndawo, ngicela ungitshele ungubani? Where did you grow up? Who are you? Where do you come from? And things like that.
So, mina ngilijaha laseFilabhuse ngikhulele eCollingon. From birth up to the time when I started working. Ngaba le nhlanhla, I worked for PPC for almost for a very long time. Then I moved to Harare. After that, I left Zimbabwe 2018, moved to Oman, started working for a metals refinery. Ngisebenza in the instrumentation section. Oman, it's next to Dubai, 200 kilometers from Dubai.
Oh, so get cheese and all that stuff.
Yeah, ngapha the weather is very hot. In summer, our temperatures can get up to 60 degrees.
60 degrees Fahrenheit, Celsius?
Yeah. No, 60 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's very hot. It's extremely hot.
Wow, 60 degrees.
Yeah. You know, first time nifika lapha, first day on arriving, I jumped off the plane. I landed at a small airport. As I was walking away from the plane, walking out, it kept getting hotter and hotter. Initially, I thought it was the engine. I ran down the staircase. When I was on the ground, it was even hotter.
Wow.
I some point for some time, and I was actually thinking to myself, can't this just deport me? Or be able to face this?
Wow, it was that bad.
That's how bad it is.
Okay,
But
so
yeah,
maybe,
you get used to it.
Okay. Have you, okay, so you practically live in air cons and things like that, I suppose.
Yeah, practically, you can't be in a house without an air conditioner.
Okay. So remember COVID Kalisa, and it was like all those hot places wouldn't get COVID, but you contracted it. You do have COVID places in such odd areas. So it has obviously dispelled the myth yokuthi very hot places don't have COVID.
Yes, so I contracted COVID in May. May is the beginning of summer, and the temperatures will be probably hovering around about a minimum of 48, 50 degrees during the day, and around about 39, 40 in the middle of the night to early morning. That's the time when we started getting a lot of COVID cases, and that's the time when I contracted COVID.
So what was your experience? What was Ugula? Was it a routine test? How did you discover that you had a COVID-19?
Okay, one guy from work tested positive for COVID, and I had been with that guy over the weekend. And though we both had our masks, but thing is, at times you relax a bit and you take them out. You remove them, but then was a toluti. That's the time when you most likely to get it, because that's the time when you're fully exposed. Because you say to yourself, okay, this is my colleague. I know he can't have COVID, but the thing is, now we had actually reached a stage whereby you don't know who has it and who doesn't. So you relax around your colleagues and you say, okay, no, they've got nothing. Then one guy tests positive. We were all sent for tests that very week. Initially, I remember I tested negative, but then I was sick a week later. When I went back,
what were your symptoms like?
Okay, when I went, what happened? When I felt sick, I remember I went to work in the morning that day. My temperature was elevated. So when they checked me at work, by the security section entrance, they said, no, I can't go in because my temperature is elevated. Then I came back, went to hospital. Then the doctor, okay, they checked my temperature. They said, okay, your temperature is around about 37.5. It's not yet 38. You don't have a fever, but they had a look at my throat and they said, okay, you've got what you call this a throat infection. Then I remember he gave me some antibiotics and some antibiotics and this mouthwash. Uh, then I came home. I took those antibiotics for 2 days. Okay, the throat went away, but my chest started. That's when I went for my COVID test, which came out. Unfortunately, those days, the tests were taking quite longer as compared to now.
Yeah.
Those days take you around about 4 or 5 days before you get your results. So I went for my test. Then during that period when I was waiting for my results, I lost my sense of smell and my taste. I remember one day I actually burnt food. I was sitting in the house. I couldn't smell a thing. Yeah. I got bogged down with some other things that I was doing. And I think just 2 or 3 hours with the stuff on the stove until a neighbor had to come knocking. Mm.
Wow, that
He walked in because he thought there was no one. Walked in, switched off. And as he was walking out, he realized, oh, you're there.
okay. Wow.
So I lost my sense of smell, my taste. Then I remember my chest getting a bit heavy. I could breathe. I didn't have, but I couldn't take deep breaths. And I remember one guy coming to me and saying, don't go to hospital. If you go to hospital, they will put you in a ventilator and that will be the end of you.
Okay. But we thought ventilators are the helpful means to be able to breathe. But I suppose it was also in the beginning and we didn't know much about the disease.
No, I do agree with you. We didn't know much about the disease. And well, I won't say ventilators killed people, otherwise medical people will say on what basis by saying that. Apparently, it appears it was the wrong way of doing it. But look, it was my chest that got a bit uptight. But what I had to do, I just had to take my vitamin supplements and get a lot of oranges and lemons, ginger.
Okay. So also hambang esibhedlela, like you basically were sick from home.
I was sick from home. Then I got my results 4 days later, which came positive. And by that time, I was getting better.
Okay.
My body had started responding, and I think I was fighting off the infection successfully.
Okay. So your experience was pretty mild because you lost your sense of smell, you had a sore throat that went away, and just a heaviness of chest and weakness and anything like that, all that. Were you just functioning normally without your sense of smell and shit? Awuzenzela izinto zakho.
Ngangizenzela into zami, ngangifunctiona kuhle. But the problem is I didn't have that sense of smell. I didn't have that sense of taste.
Okay. So from the time
I remember eating chilies. I couldn't taste how chilly it was, but I felt it burning me inside.
So kudlula emlonyeni kuyehla.
Yeah.
That's how bad the condition is.
That's how bad it was, yeah.
So from the time ugulu city sore throat to the time you got your sense of smell, how long did that take?
Okay, for my throat, it was on a Monday. And I think I had lost my sense of smell and taste by Thursday.
Okay. Yo, it was pretty quick, can't it?
Yeah.
And then recovery yako, uzizweni ukuthi right now I'm recovered, my sense of smell is back. How long did it take to come back?
I think I got my sense of smell 2 or 3 weeks later. It took quite a while.
Okay. But okay, all right. So, did you retest after the whole process to check, okay, am I now clear? Or you just got your sense of smell back and you're like, I'm fine?
Okay, the thing is, regulation on this side, it's 14 days from the time you test positive. You don't need to take another test. Okay. So from that time, I didn't test. I had to wait out the 14 days. And by that time, I felt way, way better. And that's the time when I went back to work.
Okay. So since you're far away, how did your family respond? Kutwa umuntu nangu le COVID halfway across the galaxy. How did your family take it? Did you tell them? Did you share? What did you do?
Initially, it was very difficult to tell them. So, because you didn't know whether you're going to make it or you're going to die.
Yeah.
So the only thing one could do is to say, okay, I've got a life insurance policy that will take care of them when I'm gone.
That's all you could do. So iwila ubhalanga pho waqala ukwabanisa izinto zakho uthi iwardrobe yakubani, istofu sakubani awubhalanga iwili.
Let's face also will, but hey, what I was feeling was a bit bad. You know, I remember this one day, I went to sleep asking myself if I'm going to wake up the following day or if I'm going to wake up in hospital.
Or if you're going to wake up at all.
At all, yeah.
Okay, but
it was so bad.
Mm-hmm. But you eventually told your family,
I never jealous sensitive.
Uthi ngangile.
Ngabatshela sensitive, sembatshengisa even the test results.
But I suppose it's a difficult position for all the people who are out there, because you don't want to worry abantu nkaya, because you don't know how they're going to react and they can't see you, they can't attend to you. So I understand this thing of withhold information until you see it's really bad or whatever happens.
Yes, I know. It's true. It's true. At times you just have to withhold it. But hey, people will start panicking. They are so far away, they can't do anything. And whereas of back then, people couldn't even travel.
Yeah. So now that we've got this vaccine, what are your thoughts on it? Are you taking it? Have you had a chance to have a vaccine? And what would you say to everybody else about this vaccine? And tell us, there's so many myths and stories going around about it. What is your opinion on it? COVID-19.
So I took the vaccine end of December 2019. But I actually had to travel home in January.
Okay.
So I took the vaccine. I haven't felt anything, and no problem. And well, I believe it's quite safe and it does work actually. But we recently had an outbreak of COVID-19. But well, I'm not feeling anything. I'm good. And unfortunately, actually, one of the guys I work closely with tested positive. And that's the guy who will sit together and have lunch. That's the time when you don't have your masks, you don't have any.
Yeah. So you've
and this is something that happened 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So you're not feeling anything yet. So look.
Oh, I mean, I'm good. I am good.
Okay. So what would be your advice to people about the vaccine, especially home? We've got all these myths and stories. What's your advice to people?
My advice to Abantu is, if you have an opportunity to take the vaccine, go for it. Take it. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the vaccine. It will actually help protect you. So you need to take the vaccine. It's good for your health. It's good for the country.
Yeah, it's good for the herd.
That's true.
Mpilo, thank you so much for sharing your story. There's so much stigma around e-COVID so far. People are like, abantu bangakwazi ukuthi ngagula i-COVID or whatever. People still seem to think ukuthi into okumele beyi-hush hush. And did you encounter any stigma? Did people look at you weird? What happened? What was your experience? Because you've had COVID and there you were still out and about.
You know, when it started, there was a stigma around COVID, even this side. Okay, fortunately, I was the second person at work to get a COVID. But initially, I was a bit worried. You know, everyone gets worried. They'll say, okay, this African, say we have COVID. Okay. That stigma will always be there. But I think with time, everyone realized that this is something you can get at any point. Plus, getting it doesn't mean you are weaker or.
The flu. It's nothing you can do about it. You've caught it, you live through it.
You can't stop it. And actually, COVID is deadly, but, well, it is like a flu. If I go through this, okay, I don't have the actual numbers. I think we've had more than 50 people testing positive for COVID since last year, but none of them have been hospitalized. Most of them, they get COVID, they go home, they relax, they take their vitamins, their vitamin supplements, and all this other stuff like with ginger and lemons. They just work on their bodies. And within 14 days, they are fully recovered and back at work.
Okay. All right. So it's nothing. Let's just share the experience. We should just mask up, sanitize, and just stay protected.
Yes, everyone has to mask up, sanitize, and protect the next person so that you're protected as well.
Yeah, no. Mpilo, thank you so much for your time. It's been having a homeboy talking to us all the way from Oman. And we wish you all the best out there. And thank you for sharing your story.
Oh, thank you so much, Swa. And my encouragement is get everyone to mask up, sanitize. I don't know the cost of our masks in Zimbabwe, but always keep a box. It helps.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Moyo.
Oh, you're welcome, Swa.
You take care.
Take care as well.
Right. So that was Mpilo Moyo with us on the Breakfast Club here, and he is a survivor of COVID-19. And it was interesting, Wuti, all the things we go through, the stigma, the fears, Wuti, it's nothing anybody did. If you would like to share your story, it will help somebody else go through it, because we are told we're going through the third wave, and it is essential that we mask up, we sanitize, get vaccinated if possible, and stay protected. That's all for me for now. And this is Asake Online.